So I'm back in this area today, back up in the garage, and I ended up chopping this bit out. It looked okay, but there was some rust holes forming up here, and it was getting quite thin. And I had to drill through some spot welds because there was a bit of metal left behind here, you know, from this panel. It kind of like tucked up under there. And then when I went through there, it was twisting and made a bit of a mess, so chop it out, start again. So be doing that and looking at this area. So going over it with the sanders, looking a bit crusty underneath. So I'm going to chop out this bit and see what it's like underneath and see what needs cleaning up under there. So I'm going to start with those two and see where we go. Okay, so I've been peeling back the top layer. I think I'm getting back to good metal. Been sanding this up and it all looks nice and clean. But I sanded underneath, and what I thought was metal was just seam sealer, and there's loads behind you as well. So I'm going to have to go up a bit higher, especially up here, because I was going along with the sander and realised, yeah, I think there's some metal in there, can't quite tell. Yeah, could all be seam sealer actually. So before I go any further, I'm going to make a note to this shape, just make a little template so I know what to build this back up to. And I'll keep going up here and see how far I have to go before I get to some actual metal. So this bit didn't turn out half as bad as I thought it was going to, thankfully. It looked like, the more I cut out, the more rust I was finding, but it was just surface. I thought this bit rotted out, but I don't think it has. It's all solid. It's just a funny shape. So I don't know. Because I thought, this had rusted away, but that's a rounded corner there, so it's supposed to be. So yeah, whatever. I'll just clean this up, get some rust converter on there, and get a new bit of metal to go in there. Just spot weld on these bits, the thicker bits, and just seam weld along there. All this is just seam sealer. Presumably it can get that from inside the car. Yeah. So I'll pull all that out. I'll need to weld anyway. And I want to replace it all. Because there's loads of seam welded on that side. And there's loads along this lip as well. So I'll pull all that out and replace it. So next job, just clean this up and get some rust converted on there. So that bit's cut out, ready to weld in. And this, I've cleaned all this up now and cut the cardboard template, which pretty good fit. So I'll transfer this onto metal now, get it bent up and get it all welded in. So it needs a bit of beating still, turning this edge, so kind of like pull this end up a bit. So I'll flatten this out, but yeah, it's looking good. So what I did was just grip it like this with my knackered old mole grips, and then just beat, drew the line so I knew what I was working to. Gripped it at the line and then just beat the edge over and tried to, did several passes and then just tried to shrink it a bit. Not perfect, it's distorted a bit, but yeah, pretty pleased with that. So a bit more tidying up, a bit more straightening, and get that welded in. So this is what I'm up to today. I've got this bit all welded in now. I've got this edge fairly flush. I was going to say the panel goes over it a bit, doesn't the panel tucks underneath, but the wing goes over there, so yeah. Yeah, I've got this bit welded in. I haven't bothered dressing it too much because it's going to be covered in stone chip, but I've got this line good enough and it's all nice and solid. So yeah, I'm trying to think what I want to go next. I'm probably going to leave this pillar for now. I think I might address this next time. I might be opening a can of worms there, but it's got to be done. And after I've done this, what I might do is move over to the other side. My attention span isn't the best, and I don't want to make this too much of a chore for myself. So I probably will move around a little bit just to keep things a little bit interesting, you know, for myself, but probably for you as well. So yeah. Okay, so I'm hoping to finish off this panel today. You can see this top bit's done. I've sorted this bit, and there are some holes in this A-pillar, but I'm going to leave that for now. And I just want to finish off this bit. So I'm going to be looking at this hole. If I get a light in there, you can see it's gone through both layers. So I need to unpick this top layer, sort out the mess behind, and then rebuild this. So I'm going to make a note to the size and shape and everything. You can see the bottom layer comes down lower, and it doesn't really matter, but I would like to try and make it look as factory as possible. So I'll make a note of this size and shape here, start unpeeling this back, and see what's going to greet me underneath. So with our top layer off, I had to go a bit higher because I found another hole here, and I wanted access and see if there was any more rot hiding away. But as far as I can see, it's just these two. So this is the one you could see from before, and this one was hidden behind the top layer. So I was thinking I could do it in one go, but the bulkhead sort of divides them, so I can get to this hole from behind, from inside the car, which is good because I need to pull away all the seam sealer before burn the whole thing down. So yeah, I just do it in 2 different goes. And for a go, thanks to Leslie here for the tips. I'm getting better with these spot welds. So yeah, that's my next job. Cut these out, get some patches welded in. So that's those 2 bits welded in now. I didn't bother dressing it because it's going to be covered, so don't care. I did have to take it down along this edge and this edge though, because this top layer is going to attach to there, so needs to have a nice flush fit. So rather than muck around with this shape, I found this bit that I'd cut off, and I think I'll just weld that back in, and then I've just got like square shapes to contend with then to replace. So yeah, don't fancy, could make that a shape, since it's there, it's not rusty, so I think I'll use that. So I've got this bit welded back on now, and yeah, I think it was the right thing to do because it's just going to save me a lot of faffing around. So to replace this bit now, I'll probably trim a bit more off there and square this off, and I'll just make this easier to replace in one go, and probably won't even bother too much with the fancy concave bits, and I'll just make it fit as best as possible. Again, all this is going to be covered in the wing and stone chip all over that, so don't really care too much. So I'm going to leave that there for today because I'm running out of time, so I have to come back to this next week. I will get some primer on there just to protect it. But just before this finishes video, got a tiny update on the Mark 6. That's red mirror caps. These are the original blue ones. I just painted myself. And not the best painter in the world, but I think that's looking okay. I still need a bit of a quick wet sand to get rid of some of this orange peel and polish up, but I think that looks great. And it's 5% less blue, so happy with that. This didn't really warrant its own video, so I thought I'd just tuck it in at the end here, and I'll probably do the same with the side skirts as well. And what's left in here then is just the rear bumper, the spoiler and the wheels. The wheels and the bumper are easy enough, but the spoiler's not just bolted on, it's bonded as well, so probably gonna have to do that on the car, but won't worry about that another day. Now I'm just gonna look at my red mirrors.